You know, if you're watching Mean Street right now and not watching, say, the US gymnastics team, you're being more productive than many of your peers. And Charles Passy from MarketWatch is here to tell us a little bit today about how this, in fact, is this habit that American workers seem to have of watching the Olympics during their work hours is, in fact, creating something of a productivity loss for companies. Yeah. You've even put a number on it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is an issue you see crop up with a lot of major sporting events and just major events. But the thing with the Olympics is productivity experts who look at this have said that this is kind of a perfect storm with the fact that the games are taking place in the evening in Europe, but it's perfect daytime watching for us. The streaming capabilities, what NBC has done, basically makes it very, very easy for us to do it. So at least one expert that I spoke with did crunch the numbers and said this is about a $650 million loss for American businesses.
I mistakenly referred to you as a MarketWatch employee.
SmartMoney.
SmartMoney. But how did where does this 650 million? How does that number come about?
You know, a lot of people have said, well, they love to just come up with these numbers. It's actually some real math here and some real looking at it. What we know from various surveys is at least 12% of the American population is copping to the fact that they're watching the games at work. There's been one survey that said it's as high as 45%, I think. So let's work with a minimum of 12% of the people are doing it. We know that what the average white-collar worker makes, and then we know that they're probably going to watch, we figured a minimum estimate of about 10 minutes a day of watching over the 2-week period. Figure out what their wages are, do the math, and you come out with about $650 million. But that figure, by the way, does not include, in some ways, what could be the more critical issue, which is the bandwidth issue. Right. Which is something that you really can't put a figure on. But go on.
And that's because, well, it turns out Yahoo says that a quarter of workers want to leave work early for this purpose. But those who are sticking here, as you suggest, are streaming coverage from NBC and elsewhere. I presume some of them are getting around NBC's controls and going to BBC and the like. And that's just
anyway.
What does it do to the networks in
well, basically, companies? I mean, you know, the way I sort of described it is, you know, you're a badminton fan. You're watching badminton. You're enjoying yourself. What does it have to do with me, who's diligently working? I mean, at least I'm being productive. But the problem is you're slowing down the network and making it harder for me to do my work. Now, in large companies with robust networks, this may not be a problem. But for smaller firms, this could be a very real problem.
Right, a huge factor. Now, of course, the fact that it lands in a time zone that is just right in the middle of our work day, of course, is a problem for companies. An advantage for those who want to slack off, perhaps.
Right. But, it's again what experts I spoke to kept using the phrase the perfect storm between having the availability to do this. Keep in mind, in Beijing, we didn't have the availability of streaming like we have now, and the fact that you know, the time difference, but also, you know, I mean, it is the Summer Olympics, but it's the summer. People slack off most during the summer. Every productivity expert said this is not something you imagine. People don't want to work during the summer.
And now they have a perfect excuse. And it's not just watching the shows, of course. It's like engaging on Twitter and all these different forums in which they can discuss their favorite sports.
We're really just looking at the phenomenon of streaming, of watching them live. The fact of the matter is everybody is checking you know, the web for scores, for updates, and then, you know, using social media to comment on it. So yeah, there's a lot of time wasting going on.